Okay, there are several methods for putting jigs together for assembling the comfort and side belt nest. This particular one we're going to show today is one that some of the dealers use where they hang the center panel. In this case, they're hanging it and they just put some nails to hold the center panel. Underneath it, they'll use the skid that the center panel came on as a workbench. In this case, we use sawhorses because we're only putting one together, but in most cases where they're doing quite a few, they'll build legs underneath this thing. To start out, you just want to be very clear on the arrows. Anything that has an arrow has to point the same direction when you put this together. Okay, we lay these divider panels out. Start with the left on the left when you're looking at from the arrow end, and the right on the right when you're looking from the arrow end. Okay, once we have the first set of dividers on, arrow pointing towards us, when the arrow is pointing towards us, there's a left panel on the left, a right panel on the right. We've already laid out the rest of the panels, and on the side that is left, all these other panels are now rights. And the other side we've laid out are all left. When you're building your jig, a lot of times people will put a little piece of wood on the bottom of that skid to hold a stack of parts on each side so they don't have to keep chasing with every one they build. Okay, as a quick check, after you've got the first set of dividers on, you might want to check the gap or the distance for each cavity. I just set a tape measure up against one side, come over here. For the comfort nest, you should see about 19 1/8 inch for each cavity. The next step is to install the roof supports. Important is to note that these arrows on the roof support go in the same direction as the arrow on the back panel. And you'll put these back to back on each side in here. So here we've put the stiffeners on. We only put the top one on because we'll be doing a bit more, adding parts later. Okay, now that we have the divider panels on, we're going to take it off the hanging fixture and put it down on the skid/workbench. When installing the stiffener brackets on the end of the divider, just be sensitive to the fact that the holes are different spacings, so you want to make sure that they do line up properly, and they are universal, so there are no lefts and rights. The next step is putting the partition brace on. First step is to remember that the arrow needs to be facing the same direction as the arrow on the back panel. When you install this, it gets riveted to the third hole from the bottom on the dividers. You'll also note that the holes are in pairs. The partition brace gets riveted to the furthest hole of that pair from the arrow. After the divider brace is installed, we install the egg deflectors. The egg deflectors, by design, you can put one rivet in the middle. Feel free to use an extra rivet if you feel like you'd like to have a little bit more solid connection. Okay, the next step is to put the nest rod support brackets in. These go in the holes that are marked CN. As you can see here, just one rivet, and we'll put the rods in next. Okay, we're going to fish the rods through for the nest supports. When you do that, you start at one end and keep the one retainer loose. The other retainer's already been riveted in. So we thread this thing through each partition up to the end. And when we get to the end, we just install this in here into the pre-riveted bracket on each one. After you've threaded the rod through, then you rivet this bracket in, and that should retain the nest support rods. Okay, so some prep work, or we'll call it table work, that can be done in advance is attaching the nest pad to the wire support. This is done with 4 wire ties. You want to make sure that you're using the cross wires so that the nest pad does not slip down. This prevents it from slipping down. Still gives it a little bit of room to slide back and forth. You're going to go in about the second row, second long wire up, same all the way around in all 4 corners, and make those good and snug so that the nest pad does not slide. Okay, we're going to sub-assemble our 2-piece trough for the comfort and side belt nest. Is going to be the front panel, the trough, and the belt guides, 2 of them. And these will all get riveted together, what we'll call table work, and then we'll put those on after we get these together. Okay, we're going to put all these rivets in except for the end ones down here at the bottom. These we're going to use later for trough connectors. The next step is adding the trough supports. They get riveted in the hole right in between the egg deflectors, and we will attach 3 of those on each side, both ends and the center. Just looking at how the trough support bracket is riveted, it's in the hole furthest apart on the cross support, and when you come down to the front panel, it would be what I'll call the opposite hole. It would be the closest one to the arrow. Okay, the belt guide that goes underneath gets riveted on both sides. You can see the direction with the legs facing towards the bottom on both sides. It gets riveted in where there's the clearance holes on the face plate. Okay, to put the trough on, we've moved it to the edge of the table. We've riveted the trough support, and then if I can get this, we rivet the underneath at each of the dividers without doing the ends. The ends get done later. After we have the belt guide riveted to the front of the trough, we're going to connect the support bracket in the front. It's 1 rivet. Just take note that it's on the hole closest to the arrow on the trough side. Again, it's the second one from the arrow on the brace side. Step we're going to take next is to put the roof on. I personally like to drop the nest pads in before the roof goes on because it's easier, although they do fit afterwards. It's just a little bit more cumbersome. Okay, when installing the roof, first thing you want to do is make sure that the arrows align. There are lefts and rights. We are not going to put rivets in the last 4 holes. We'll get to that later. The other thing that we do, there'll be 2 people working from each side. The first thing we do is just set a rivet in place in somewhere in one of the center partitions, just to hold it in place while we're riveting across the top. So riveting the roof on, we let the first 4 rivets out. Then we did 3 rivets. We left this center one out so that we can put the anti-roost bracket on. Then we did 3 more, and of course left these 4 out at the end. Okay, when finishing the roof attachments, we're going to put 2 rivets in the end partition. We're going to put a single rivet in the other partitions. You see the 3 lower holes. We'll wait to put those in until we put the curtains in. Each of the roof support brackets get 2 rivets. Make sure you're pushing up and the 2 pieces of sheet metal are mated together before you pull the trigger on the rivet gun. That makes a secure joint. For the egg belt cover, we're going to use these little hinges. I like to close them a little bit before I get started. That makes it easier to get the rivet in. Then I'm just going to slip it into the hole, and then we'll put the rivet in this way. Here's a case on the door where we tried to put the hinge in, but the door was down too far and it prevented the rivet from getting tight. You want to try and make sure that the door is up inside the hinge so that the rivet can get tight. The next thing is to put the curtains on. Remember, we left this last one out on the end partitions. That's so that we could get the curtain in. That just has the metal bracket. The end one is the narrow one, obviously. The center ones, if I can get the glare off. The center ones have 3 rivets. The bracket, the holder bracket, has 2 holes in the center so that you can do lefts and rights. In our case, don't think you can see it, but we used the rough side of the curtain out on all just for consistency. Okay, putting the roof hinges in. Okay, as before, we preformed this hinge closer to what we want. We'll slip it in here and then rivet it to the roof panel. Hold the bottom to support it so that everything will be nice and snug when you pull the rivet in. Okay, here we've installed our hanger brackets, used 2 bolts there. The anti-roost brackets, there's 3 of those. We've installed those. And of course the hanger bracket on the other side. Okay, next we put the egg guard on. To start, the round pipe comes in 10-foot lengths. We cut that to the 8-foot. We use the pipe clamp, the support bracket with the legs facing up. Next was the pipe clamp, then the perch. The bolt goes the whole way through, and it gets a lock nut on the end. The anti-roost cap goes on. It just slips over the 3 slots here, and then you give it a little twist to keep it from falling off. Okay, the last piece that we are going to do is put the nest closure kit on. That includes the 2 pulleys that get mounted to the center through the same hole. That'll get winched up to your winch. The spring gets mounted to the roof and to the lid. We'll open that up, and there's the spring. And the third piece is just the P-clamp that gets the cord connected to it, which will then be routed up to the pulley and up to your winch system.